both of those folk tales, Javi and the Princess and Hans and the Princess. And you had some multiple choice questions to answer. So in this video, we're going to take a look at those multiple choice questions, kind of review and revisit those, and then introduce the text that you will be reading next. So let's take a look. Which of the following is a theme expressed by both folk tales? Well, we said that in both texts, both couples were presented with a challenge. Unfortunately, it came from the king, but they had to overcome that challenge. And really, I think that the best one would be B. I don't think that putting your trust in a fool is a bad idea, because that really didn't prove to be the case in either of those, because their love really was like true by the end of the story. Children should listen to the wisdom of their parents. Well, they really didn't show that in either of those texts. By the end, they were both very happy with their choices, and their parent, referring to the king, wanted the exact opposite. Hard work is what helps even fools succeed. Well, that was kind of an idea presented in Hans, just that, or in Judavi and the Princess, that he was able to make his way out of the barrel, but that was not a theme that was shared. So B is the best answer. Now let's look at question number 2. Choose the statement that best tells how the king's actions in each folktale contribute to the theme. So how did his actions contribute to the theme? Well, he basically presented some he's the one who presented the challenge. He's the one who caused that challenge. So I think the best answer here is not that he's asking him to treat them like royalty. He wanted them both dead in both stories, unfortunately. Ordered the fool to build a castle. No, it doesn't mention that. He demanded that the fool become handsome and intelligent. No, he did that kind of on his own. That was his wish. So the best answer is D. He created the problem that the fool had to handle in both of those folk tales. Question number 3. Which theme is developed in Hans and the Princess but not in Judavi and the Princess? So in Hans and the Princess, we know that it talks about treating people fairly. That's a big idea in this text, and we know that that gold cup came into play here, and the princess even adds to this theme when she kind of teaches her father, the king, a lesson or two about treating people fairly. So I think that the best answer here is A. It is important to treat people fairly. Parents should teach their children lessons. No, it was the other way around here at the end. The daughter kind of taught her father a lesson. Children should forgive their parents. I mean, you might infer that based upon what happened here at the end and how then they're okay with each other, but no, that's not really a theme that's developed in this story. Doing things for other people is a good idea. I really don't know that I saw that as a theme in either of these stories. I think the best answer is going to be A. Now that kind of leads us into the next question, where we have to find the sentence that describes what the princess wanted to teach the king. So if we go back here to paragraph 8, I'm going to reread this real quickly. The king protested that he did not know how the cup had come into his pocket. Doesn't really, you don't know the lesson she was trying to teach yet. The princess said, "Do you see now how it feels to be treated unfairly?" I think that really is the sentence where when I read this paragraph, I was like, aha, that's why she put the cup in his pocket. Let me read the rest of them, though, to see if there's one that's better. She revealed herself as his daughter and forgave him. No, it's kind of like the after part, what happened. The king, overjoyed, named the princess and Hans as his heirs, and then upon his death, Hans and the princess became king and queen. Nope, the lesson that she wanted to teach was definitely how it felt to be treated unfairly, so I would type that sentence. The princess said, and this is going to go in quotes, "Do you see now how it feels to be treated unfairly?" So that is the sentence from the text that supports that idea of teaching him a lesson. Now let's look at these matching. A frog helps a fool. Well, that happened, I believe, in Judavi and the Princess. A fool marries a princess. That was in B, both. A king is embarrassed. Let me go back really quick. Let's look at this one. I'll reward you both with figs and raisins. So saying that, he threw Let's see, handfuls of luscious fruit. Just trying to think if that was really, if the king does kind of show that he's embarrassed in this one. Let's see, allow me to do something amazing for you. The king kindly built okay, the Princess Judabi also knew him very well. Soon she said, I will indeed marry you, but first we must find... A king is embarrassed. Oh, you know what? I'm reading this question like in the end, the king was embarrassed by his actions. No, I think, though, if we think about this question, it's referring to the king up here in the beginning. Like he's embarrassed about his daughter and the fool. So that was definitely B for both. A golden cup is found in a pocket. That was Hans. That happened here, so that's C. A fool rescues a princess. Well... I guess, though, in the first one, in this one, where he gets out of the barrel, he technically rescues her because he gets her out and then leads her to safety. And then in this one, they're in the ship. Well, he, like, wishes for the ship and then brings her back to shore. So that's also going to be both. A princess and a fool live happily ever after. Well, I know that in both texts, they do live happily ever after at the end. This one, they became king and queen, so that's also going to be B for both. All right, so in the first part of this video, we've gone over the questions. If you have any additional questions or you think that maybe one of my answers, that you got something different and you believe that my answer is incorrect, please send me a message and let me know. And in the second part of this video, we will talk about the two-headed weaver and the ridiculous wishes. See you in just a moment. The text, the two-headed weaver. So this is a folk tale that you guys are going to read today. There are two. This is the first one. And let's just take a look at this illustration. We see a tree and it kind of looks like it has a face and a man that's holding what looks like an axe. So make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen? He's probably going to try to chop down the tree. Now, if you see a face right here, what do you know, your background knowledge, other stories maybe, that you've read or something very similar, what do you think is going to happen? Maybe he decides that chopping down the tree is not the best idea. So there's a few words here that you need to know before you get started. The first one is weaver and loom. I know that a lot of you have like the rainbow loom at home with the rubber bands, so you know that weaving is like moving, like if you had your loom set up and you had the rubber bands going in and out and under and over. That is what it means to weave. A weaver is just a person who does this for a living. So the loom is obviously the tool that he works with. And let's scroll down. He is planning on chopping down this tree, but there is a spirit that lives inside. And the spirit says, ask whatever you would like, but spare this tree. Spare meaning, please do not chop it down. When we go on to page 2, we learn, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this text. We learn that the weaver is told that he can basically be granted one wish. And so he runs to his friend, the barber, and asks what he should do. And he says that you should choose to be the ruler of a kingdom. So basically being a king. And then he goes and he says, well, I need to talk to my wife first. So he goes and talks to his wife. And there's a few words here that we want to talk about. She says that a king's life is an unending procession of annoyances, meaning there's a lot of like annoying things that come along with being a king. You must constantly worry about friendships. We know what that word means. Animosities. So people who have a lot of like hatred towards each other. Wars, we know what that is. Servants, people who work for the king. Defense, alliances. So an alliance is kind of like a friendship, maybe between two countries, or like military support. And duplicity. Never envy the life of a king, she says. So she tells him to do something else with his wish, so you'll have to read to find out. Then you have this story, The Ridiculous Wishes. Recognize now that a lot of these stories have to do with making a wish, right? And we've also learned by now that usually when you're granted these wishes, there's usually some type of like negative consequence for making the wish. Not always, but sometimes. So in this story, you have this little woodcutter, right? And he is complaining kind of about his life and how it's very difficult, and how he's been complaining about it for a while, but nothing has changed. And so they basically, someone comes along and says, I will grant you, 3 wishes. You get to choose, and you must know what they are. Well, he goes home and he talks to his wife about it, and they start to kind of brainstorm all these great things that they could do, right? Become rich, become a queen, become a king, have a kingdom. Very like normal, very common. We're noticing like a pattern here. Well, he starts this fire, and right now they're just sitting there, and they really wish that they could have like some sausage to eat that they could cook in the fire, because right now in this moment they are hungry. Well, all of a sudden a link full of, or links of sausage appear. They both recognize that, oh whoa, that must have been like your first wish. So then something kind of crazy happens, and you're gonna have to read to find out how the remaining 2 wishes sort of end. But he also learns a pretty strong lesson throughout making these wishes, and the result of the different wishes. You can kind of get an idea here in this picture. Something is going on, right? Here's his wife, here he is, this is sausages. It looks like she's like pulling them out of her nose. Like, good grief, what's going on? So pay attention to the details. This story does take kind of an interesting turn, but there is a very strong theme at the end of this text, just like the 2-headed weaver. So today you're going to read both stories, and you are going to complete the graphic organizer. And on Friday, you will be responding to some questions in regard to both of these texts. So let me know if you have any questions.